Some of the coolest and sometimes the best, or heck unfortunately sometimes the most forgotten characters in the Yu-Gi-Oh franchise are the protagonist's best friends, and I'm finally doing a video that tackles this subject like many of you wanted me to do before. And while I like to do ranking videos like my video on who's the best Yu-Gi-Oh heroine or who are the best and worst rivals in Yu-Gi-Oh, this time I mainly want to go over who are the best friend characters of the 8 series protagonists, what makes them worthy of the title of best friend to the series protagonist, and let you know who is my personal favorite of the bunch. And to be honest, there's no bad best friend character in the bunch. So here we go, the best friends of each series, and then my choice for who I think is on the top of the list. First is Yugi's best friend Joey Wheeler, and what can I say? Joey Wheeler is a freaking great character and an incredible best friend to Yugi. He is fiercely loyal, always standing by Yugi's side no matter what the odds, and he has been able to stand by Yugi due to his remarkable growth throughout the series, from a brash, hot-headed duelist to a skilled strategist. Joey evolves both as a duelist and as a person. He brings determination and never give up attitude that inspires both Yugi and viewers alike. I know as a kid, just getting into the game and seeing Joey grow and become better always gave me the drive to become a better player myself. Lastly, his friendship with Yugi isn't just about dueling, it's about supporting each other through thick and thin, making him an integral part of the series' emotional core. Of course, Yugi values all of his friends, I don't doubt that at all, but Joey is not just moral support. His journey from being a struggling duelist to becoming a formidable competitor alongside Yugi adds depth to their friendship and distinguishes him as a unique essential companion to Yugi's life. Next is Judai's best friend Cyrus, and Cyrus is a character that I don't think gets the recognition he deserves. Despite his initial insecurities and self-doubt, Cyrus evolves throughout the series from a kid who was essentially being carried and mentored by Judai to proving himself as a true friend who can stand by Judai and be reliable not only as a buddy but as a comrade to face enemies. Their bond strengthens over time, making Cyrus an integral part of Judai's journey and success in Duel Academy. Cyrus also has some of the best character growth of any character in the franchise, overcoming his insecurities, gaining the acknowledgement of his older brother, and not being afraid to move up in Duel Academy. He never let his friendship with Judai tie him down and keep him from leaving the Slifer Red dorm to be promoted to Ra Yellow and then even to the top in Obelisk Blue. And even with him going up in the ranks, nothing changed between Judai and Cyrus, except now Cyrus was not trailing behind Judai and needing him to make him better, but can now stand shoulder by shoulder with him. Now we're going to move on to Yusei's best friend, and this one is going to be controversial because Yusei doesn't really have a singular standout best friend the way Yugi or Judai do. Some of you are probably screaming at your screen right now saying, "It's Crow!" But is it? You see, Yusei holds the same level of friendship to all his former comrades of Team Satisfaction. I think people assume Crow is the best friend character because people like to put characters under a certain label. If Jack is the rival, then Crow by default must be the best friend, which is what some would assume, but it's not that simple. We can't disregard how Yusei views these friends. Jack Atlas and Crow Hogan both play significant roles as Yusei's best friends in Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds for different reasons. Jack is Yusei's childhood friend and rival with a deep connection that goes back to their days in the satellite. Their bond is forged through their shared experiences, rivalry, and mutual respect, making Jack an integral part of Yusei's journey. And just like Jack, Crow also grew up with Yusei in Martha's orphanage and was also seen as kind of a brother to Yusei. His loyalty, support, and willingness to stand by Yusei through thick and thin demonstrates a deep friendship that has lasted since their early childhood days to their teenage years in Team Satisfaction, all the way to becoming adults and taking on world threats such as the Dark Signers and even facing beings from the future that threaten them. Overall, Jack and Crow are both completely equal in terms of being best friends to Yusei, considering their early childhood bonds that have transcended all the way into adulthood. Ultimately, both Jack and Crow contribute uniquely to Yusei's growth and provide different forms of support and companionship, which is why they should both be considered the best friends of Yusei and not just Crow. We're now moving on to Yu-Gi-Oh! Zio, which will probably be another controversial take, but it shouldn't be. The best friend of Yuma is Tetsuo, and no, not Shark or Kaito. They were his close companions, but that doesn't change that Tetsuo is Yuma's best buddy And despite not being as strong or Kaido or Shark, always stood beside Yuma. A major highlight for me is when Dark Mist replaced Astral and was controlling Yuma's body. In the last-ditch effort, Yuma entrusted his best friend with Utopia. Tetsuo dueled against Dark Mist to free his best friend from the evil Numbers' clutches and even use Utopia. And for those who don't know, Numbers possess non-Numbers hunters, and Utopia is not exempt from this. We saw Flip get possessed when he was using Utopia, but Tetsuo, even knowing the risk, used this dangerous card and through sheer will overcame any possession because rescuing Yuma was his goal. It's easy to forget Tetsuo even exists as a character, so some people leave him out of the best friend conversation, but best friend is his role even if he's not the one saving the world standing by Yuma's side. This next character should not be controversial, but plenty of you probably forgot about this character unless you were recently getting spanked in Master Duel by super heavy samurais. That is right, we are talking about the man Gongenzaka, the unbudging student of the steadfast dueling style and Yuya's best friend in Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5. And what can I say, except that most of us would be lucky to have a friend like Gongenzaka by our side. He always stood by Yuya. One of the biggest highlights is that he protected Yuya from kids who bullied him after his father's disappearance, even when one of the bullies was a senior from his own dojo, who he would later on defeat a few years later in the Miami Championship. When Yuya was accused of attacking Sawatari by the LDS students, he completely denies these accusations and not only tells students of Yusho Duel School to believe in Yuya, but also faces off against Yaiba, even though he's not a member of Yusho Duel School himself, and did not need to participate in this exhibition match at all, but standing up for Yuya was what was important to him. He will likely never be anyone's favorite due to his position in the cast or design, but as a character and especially as a best buddy, Gongenzaka was pretty darn amazing. Now we move on to the best buddy character in Vrains and Yusaku's best bud, Kusanagi. Yep, not soul burner like I'm sure many assumed. Like Crow, I think people because see him fight beside Yusaku, they just drop him in the best buddy spot. Kusanagi and Yusaku have a deep bond rooted in trust and mutual respect. Kusanagi has been by Yusaku's side providing support and guidance, especially during challenging times. While Soul Burner is a close ally and comrade, Kusanagi's history and emotional connection with Yusaku make their friendship particularly significant. When you watch the series, Yusaku is usually hard to read. Heck, some might even say lack emotion or even cold. But when he's with Kusanagi, you can see him let his guard down and actually feel more human than when he's with others. There's no doubt Soul Burner is a reliable ally, but best friend? Honestly, if Yusaku was getting married, who do you think will be his best man, Kusanagi or Takeru? To me, there's no doubt who Yusaku's best friend is, and he may not be a duelist fighting side by side with him, but that is not the criteria for what makes a best friend. The emotional connection between Yusaku and Kusanagi honestly feels like a real friendship, while Soul Burner and Yusaku is a bond of camaraderie. Now we move on to Yuga's best buddy, or like you say, buddies. In Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's Gakuto, Romin, and Luke each play vital roles in Yuga's life, contributing to his journey in different ways. Gakuto's steadfast loyalty and dedication, Romin's unwavering support and encouragement, and Luke's playful camaraderie and shared passion for dueling all contribute to the deep bonds they share with Yuga. Gakuto, with his sense of honor and duty, provides Yuga with wisdom and guidance, often acting as the voice of reason within the group. Romin, with her empathy and kindness, offers Yuga emotional support and understanding, helping him navigate various challenges. Luke, with his energetic personality and shared love for dueling, brings joy and excitement to Yuga's life. Each of these characters adds a unique dynamic to Yuga's life, enriching his experiences and supporting him in different ways. Therefore, it's fair to consider all of them as Yuga's best friends, as they each play an integral part in his journey and growth throughout the series. I always saw the Seven's quartet as a unit that absolutely needs each other to get the best out of one another, so it is tough for me to just clearly say Luke is the best friend entirely, while Yuga feels equally close to Romin and Gakuto as well. But Luke might feel like the best friend because his shared rivalry, but being a best friend is about connections on all levels, so I won't argue if people see only Luke as Yuga's best friend, but I do think it's important to see the heavy significance of Romin and Gakuto as well, considering how tight the Seven's cast is and how they all played equal roles. Now for the last series at the time of this video, and that is Yudias' best friend, which is also tough to point out. His relationship with Yuamu and Yuhi are equal, with Yuhi being more of a younger brother figure and Yuamu being more of an older sister. Sure, he wanted to go against Yuhi in the tournament, but not merely because he thought of him as his best friend, but it was a way for them to duel once more and on a bigger stage with both of them a lot stronger than their first duel. And I don't think Yudias thinks of any of them more than the other. With that said, I still think Yudias does have a best friend, and that is also the rival character Zuwijo. Yudias has always shown to have a deep connection with Zuwijo, and he seems to understand him inside and out. Even when Zuwijo was his enemy, he always knew there was a reason for his behavior and actions, because this was a man who was not just his comrade, but is someone he considers his friend. And Zuwijo likewise feels the same way about Yudias. I think this is overlooked because like Jack, he's the rival character, and usually people like to place characters in individual categories. But when you watch the series, it feels like Yudias and Zuwijo are best friends that are always being separated by circumstances. Overall, best friend characters in Yu-Gi-Oh are a great part of the series. Some make a bigger impact than others, there's no doubt about that. Of course, Tetsuo doesn't compare to Cyrus, and Kusanagi, while awesome, will be forgotten for his lack of being consistent duelist compared to characters like Crow, Jack, and Zuwijo. I guess they can be ranked, but I want this video to be more of a celebration of those characters and not really put any of them down. Now the question is, who is my favorite? Well, you might call this the Yugi boomer in me, but it's Joey. His friendship with Yugi is really something else that grows in an incredible way. If you have ever read or watched Yu-Gi-Oh! Zero, then you will see how this bully-victim dynamic between them evolved into one of the most iconic friendships in the entire franchise. And trust me, they went through crazy stuff before becoming the best buddies we know them as today. Also, what can I say? I overall find Joey to be one of, if not the most entertaining duelist in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters. Watching him overcome duelists he should have no right even playing against was a sight to see. He went to Duelist Kingdom to save his sister as a nobody who didn't even understand his deck composition was horrible to becoming the runner-up in the tournament. While Yugi and Kaiba are the hero and powerhouse, Joey felt like the heart of the series, which is why I prop him up higher than Cyrus, who like Joey grew as a character and best friend, but I think Joey did it a little bit more. Even though I love Cyrus's growth, there's no doubt that Joey as a character from Yu-Gi-Oh! Zero all to the end of Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters didn't just shape out to be an amazing character, but also proved to be an absolutely reliable best friend for Yugi. But that is my choice for who is my favorite best friend character in the whole entire Yu-Gi-Oh! Franchise. But the question is, who's your favorite? Do you agree with me? Do you have a different favorite? Do you have a different take on this, on how you're gonna determine who is the best friend character? Again, I didn't want this to be too much of a ranking video and put any of them really down, because overall, looking back, they were all incredibly great. So that is why I formatted the video to be like this, to be more of a celebration of these type of characters, explaining why all of them are awesome, and just pretty much letting you guys know who was my absolute favorite. So again, I want to see you guys in the comments section, and if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, share the video. Everything you do helps out the channel so much, and I truly appreciate it. I'm gonna see you guys next time with a brand new discussion video. What the subject is gonna be, I'm not too sure yet, but look forward to it. If you have any suggestions, go down in the comments section, because that's how this video got made. So until next time, people, peace out.